Hey guys, my last video I was going over the Five Below paper, and said something about possibly doing a quick video for the cheaper paper that I actually do like. So I thought I'd just go ahead and do that. This should be pretty quick. I've got a few here that I actually do still use and do like. So I just wanted to bring those up. A lot of people like the Canson XL paper. It's inexpensive. You can find it in so many places. It's very easily accessible. I'm not a huge fan of that paper. I like some of these a little better, but it's it's kind of one of those papers that, because of the cost and the availability, it's not a bad option. As you paint, you kind of figure out the stuff that you like and stuff that you don't like. And that was just one I didn't particularly care for, but one I know a lot of people fall back on. So I don't have any Canson XL here. I actually got rid of the pad that I did have because I just didn't care for it. Hey, my dogs want to fight. Or not fight, but play. Guys, can we not? Goodness gracious. So my first pad here is from IKEA. It doesn't say that it's watercolor paper or anything else, but when I saw it, it was just kind of an interesting paper overall. And guys, I'm guessing this is about 140 pounds. It's fairly thick. It has, I don't know if I can get it to show up on camera. It's got kind of an odd texture to it. It's almost like a grid-like texture. It is a pretty sturdy paper. You can lay some water down on it and it stays pretty solid. The back is smooth if you want to use it. I don't remember exactly how much I paid for this, like $2-3 I think. It was not expensive at all. It's actually an interesting paper, and I go back to it sometimes when I'm doing like abstract things or doodly things, and I don't hate this paper. So it's not listed as watercolor paper. It's got really no real information on it as far as it goes. It's definitely not a cotton paper. But there's no like pounds or GSM or anything on it. But again, kind of an interesting paper. It's not something I would use all the time. And I kind of wonder, maybe it was designed for acrylics with that grid pattern on there to hold stuff in place. I don't know. Has anybody else used this paper? What do you guys think? Because it's definitely an interesting kind of paper. So one that I had, hold on. Let me deal with the dogs. All right, let's try that again. Dogs apparently decided now is the time to play very obnoxiously. This Grumbacher you can get in a lot of places. I think I snagged mine from Walmart. So it says 300 GSM, 140 pound. It's not. I do like the spiral bound book, and I do like the fact you can take stuff out of it easily. I did some painting in it. Didn't really care for it, but it was a good doodle paper for me. So, and I also used it when I was trying to figure out quotes and stuff that I was using on a painting I was doing, and I also just laid down the color that the ink was going to be going over so I could see how well it showed up. Again, cheap paper. Now, I did have another pad of this that was a bound pad, and I feel like the paper in it was a little better. It says it's the same, but it really didn't feel the same. So, like I said, I use this more as a doodle book, or, to do stuff like the writing and stuff. But, again, easily available and not expensive. I did buy some of the Amazon Basics watercolor paper. It is a pretty thick paper. It does actually feel like it's 140 pound, 300 GSM. It's not bad paper. I actually do like this paper. It is obviously a cellulose paper. It's not cotton paper. It holds up well. It's not a bad paper, and it's not super expensive as well. You can see I've actually used quite a bit of it here. Worth looking into. I know a lot of us are trying to get away from Amazon stuff, but it's not an awful paper as far as, you know, cellulose papers go. As long as you understand that your cellulose papers are not the same as your cotton papers, then, you know, your expectations are different, I think. So I have 2 different papers here from B Company. I'm going to use this jumbo pad first. They say they're the same paper. Again, they don't feel like they're the same paper. They do feel like there's a little bit of a difference in them. You know, this says Artist Studio Pad. The other one says Artist Quality. I don't know. I feel like they're a little different, but not enough to be a huge deal. 300 GSM, 140 pound. It feels a hair light on that. It does have a decent texture on it. Definitely cold press. I would not consider this a rough texture. Holds up fairly well. I have used this for a lot of different things. I use this a lot of times for my swatch cards. I actually did make some postcards out of it at one point, just when I was kind of playing around with those. I got this at Walmart. I can't remember how much it was, but again, not super expensive. So, and a lot of pages in it. 9x12 is kind of my go-to size for most things, to be honest. Like my base size. And so I'm always happy when I see that size. But the texture is nice on it. It's cellulose. It's not going to hold water quite as well as a cotton paper, but it's not a bad paper. And like I said, I do still use it a fair bit. You know, I use a lot of this stuff when I'm just practicing, or I've got kind of an idea I want to, I guess, paint out before I do it permanent or do it for real kind of thing. So, and then my other one, and this one I feel like is a little better quality. I don't think it's quite the same line. This is, yeah, because this is the Aqua Bee paper. So it does feel a little heavier. It's still not super heavy. It still is, would still question if it's actually 140 pound. I always like the spiral bound, and of course this is perforated. You can see that I actually had a fair bit of water on here just by how the paint's moved. I got a little bit of buckling, but not a whole lot. So, you know, again, not a bad paper. I did a test run on my blending for the video that I did on this to kind of see how it went, if I wanted to do the video actually. But this is not a bad paper. I can't remember. I think I actually did find this at Walmart eventually. I had kind of looked at it at Blick and some of the other places and wanted to snag it, and then stumbled across it at Walmart, I believe, if I remember correctly. So this B Paper Company, I actually like their paper. Again, it is cellulose paper. It is not perfect paper, but it's not a bad paper, especially if you don't want to spend all that money. And I think, I think it may be a hair cheaper than the Canson XL. And I think it's a better quality paper in my personal opinion. So those are my picks, I guess, for the, you know, the cellulose paper. For those of us who don't want to spend a small fortune on other paper, if I had to pick one, I would say this Aqua Bee from B Paper Company. And then my second overall pick would definitely be the Amazon Basics one. And then if you just want something kind of crazy just to try out, then this IKEA one, because it is a little different and it does move paint a lot differently. That grid pattern is kind of wild, and it's not like, gosh, I can't tell if I'm going to get this. So the pattern isn't like a standard grid. It's kind of all wonky, almost like a hash. You know, somebody was just making hash marks or something on it. So it does hold paint a little differently, but if you want to just try something different, you know, have something that you can put paint on, then it's definitely not a bad option to look at. But anyway, so those are my cheap papers that I actually still use, still fall back on, still grab every so often when I'm doing stuff. If you guys have a cheaper paper that you guys like, let us know in the comments, because I think all of us are kind of looking for a, hey, let me try a different one. And especially when you can find some that's a little more inexpensive. Who doesn't want that? So anyway, go out there, have a good day, go paint something, and I will see you guys later.